The likes of Portugal, England and France obviously have really deep squads. They have multiple big names across different positions on the pitch, and as such many have them as favourites to go far in the tournament. But there are certain squads that are just as deep and as packed with big names as the likes of France and Portugal, but not many are looking their way. Well, let's talk about them today. These are 7 surprisingly star-studded squads at the World Cup. We'll start with Ecuador. You'll be making a big mistake by overlooking these guys this year because they are coming into the World Cup with some outright world-class players. These guys have William Pacho of PSG, Piero Hincapié of Arsenal and Moises Caicedo of Chelsea all in their team. These are 3 players who are easily among the best in the world in their positions. On top of that, they have some seasoned top players like Pervis Estupiñán, Enner Valencia and Joel Ordóñez. Like all of that is not enough, they also have some young players who have a lot of potential like Kendry Páez, Nilson Angulo, Jeremy Arevalo and Anthony Valencia. These guys could really cause some serious havoc at this year's World Cup, but they are not even the only South American team with a surprisingly packed squad at this World Cup. Do you know who the other team is? Take a guess in the comments, we'll see if you're right soon. While you're there, if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, go do that right away so you never miss out on our amazing content. Done? Okay, now back to the video. Norway is another team with a crazy squad. Obviously they have Erling Haaland, who is arguably the best striker in the world and in fact one of the best players in the world right now. They also have Martin Ødegaard, who just captained Arsenal to their first Premier League title in 22 years and is simply one of the most creative midfielders in Europe. But it's not just a team of Haaland, Ødegaard and others. They also have Alexander Sørloth, one of the best backup strikers in the world. He's coming off a season where he helped Atleti reach the semi-final of the Champions League as well as the final of the Copa del Rey. They also have Jørgen Strand Larsen, who's doing his thing in the Premier League. He has managed 24 goals over the last 2 seasons, playing for struggling teams in the toughest league in the world. And don't forget Oscar Bob, Man City's golden boy, who could have been more if not for injuries. And in spite of his recent struggles with injuries, he is still one of the most technical and most exciting young wingers in the Premier League. But that's not all for their Premier League stars. They also have Christopher Ajer of Brentford, David Müller-Wolf of Wolves and Sander Berge of Fulham. And that's not all. They also have Jens Petter Hauge, who spearheaded a dream Champions League run for Bodø Glimt this season. He was directly involved in 8 goals in 12 Champions League games this season and most of them came against big teams like Spurs, Dortmund, City, Inter and Sporting. But we're still not done. They also have Julian Ryerson, the Borussia Dortmund man, who just finished as the player with the 2nd most assists in Bundesliga behind only Michael Olise. Like all of that is not enough, they still have the exciting pair of young wingers Antonio Nusa and Andreas Schjelderup. These are 2 guys who are hugely sought after by top clubs all around Europe because of how exciting and dangerous they are on the wings. Guys, Norway have a genuinely frightening squad. Do not sleep on them this year. And you also better not sleep on Senegal, who happen to be in the same group with Norway. People know them to be a good team, but it seems not many actually recognise them as a team packed with stars and known faces. Obviously they have Sadio Mane, an out-and-out legend of the game. They will be captained by Kalidou Koulibaly, a man who has seen it all and done it all in the European game. They also have Idrissa Gueye, who at the age of 36 is still shutting it down week after week in the Premier League. And their starting goalkeeper will be the Champions League winning Edouard Mendy. But they don't only have experienced players, they also have young ballers, like Iliman Ndiaye for example, a man who has genuinely been one of the most exciting players in the Premier League over the past few years. They also have Nicholas Jackson who, on his day, can be a real handful for any defence. El Hadji Malik Diouf might have just got relegated with West Ham, but he was truly one of the best fullbacks in the Premier League in the just concluded season. Then you have Ismaila Sarr, who just led Crystal Palace to the first taste of European glory in their entire history. And of course, Pape Matar Sarr of Spurs, Habib Diarra of Sunderland and Pape Gueye of Villarreal are top players too. And we cannot forget the newest kid on the block, Ibrahim Mbaye, who at the age of 18 is already a 2-time UEFA Champions League winner with PSG. Does it really get more star-studded than this? Another African nation people seem to be overlooking when it comes to their squad is Côte d'Ivoire. They'll be captained by Franck Kessié, who has top clubs like AC Milan and Barcelona on his CV. They have Amad Diallo, who is a top attacker for one of the biggest clubs in world football. And they also have Nicolas Pepe, once of Arsenal, but has been able to restart his career at Villarreal after a long period of being in the trenches. They also have Ivan Gesund of Palace, Evan Ndika of Roma, Ibrahim Sangare of Nottingham Forest, Seko Fofana of Porto, Guela Doué of Strasbourg, and Simon Adingra of Monaco. Mind you, we still haven't talked about their 100 million rated talent, Yan Diomande, who is being chased by almost every top club in Europe after an exceptional season at RB Leipzig. Côte d'Ivoire is certainly a top nation to watch, and a lot of people have started to pay attention after they beat France in the World Cup preparatory game. Now, remember we said that Ecuador is not the only South American team on this list? Well, that's because Colombia is also here. They too have stars strewn all around the pitch, from goalkeeper all the way to the attack. Their number one is David Ospina, the former Arsenal and Napoli shot stopper. In the defence, they have former Barcelona man Yerry Mina, former Spurs centre-back Davinson Sanchez, Daniel Munoz of Crystal Palace, and John Lucumi of Bologna. Then up to the midfield, we see Richard Rios of Benfica, Jefferson Lerma of Palace, John Arias, who was in the Premier League with Wolves in the just concluded season, and of course, the legend himself, James Rodriguez, who needs no introduction. But their attack is probably the pick of the bunch. They have one of the best wingers in the world right now in Luis Diaz, Sporting Lisbon's Luis Suarez, who is one of the most informed strikers in Europe, and Cucho Hernandez of Real Betis, a man who is loved and respected by fans of La Liga. Colombia's squad is so stacked that they could confidently leave out John Duran, who just last year was one of the most sought-after strikers in Europe. Moving on, let's look at Sweden. Even without the likes of Rooney Bardghji and Dejan Kulusevski, they still managed to put together a very star-packed 26-man squad. There simply aren't many nations who can boast of having a more lethal centre-forward pair than Sweden. These guys are really taking both Alexander Isak and Viktor Gyökeres to this World Cup, two players who are certified goal machines and, as we've seen in the past, complement each other very well. But that's just the beginning. In that same attack, they also have Anthony Elanga of Newcastle and Yacine Ayari of Brighton. Then you come to the midfield and still see some very familiar faces like Lucas Bergvall of Spurs and Benjamin Nygren of Celtic. In the defence, you have Gabriel Gudmundsson of Leeds, Daniel Svensson of Dortmund, Isak Hien of Atalanta, and of course the Swedish legend and former Man United star Victor Lindelöf, who just helped Aston Villa end their 30-year trophy drought by winning the Europa League. In that same group, you have Japan, who are coming in with a very scary squad as well. Their goalkeeper Zion Suzuki plays in the Serie A. Then they have a defense of Hiroki Ito of Bayern Munich, as well as Yukinari Sugawara and Takehiro Tomiyasu, both of whom very recently played in the Premier League. But they also still have current Premier League stars like Ao Tanaka of Leeds and Daichi Kamada of Crystal Palace, and of course the captain, the one-time Premier League champion Wataru Endo. They also have Takefusa Kubo, a player so good he was once on the books of both Barcelona and Real Madrid. And mind you, this is a Japan team that's without both Kaoru Mitoma and Takumi Minamino due to injury. To be without two of your biggest stars and still be able to put together a star-studded squad is truly something. This is one heck of a team, man. Anyway, it is now time to hear from you guys. Are there more national teams at this World Cup that are surprisingly star-studded? Which of these teams are you tipping to go far at this tournament? Get in the comments and talk to us. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.
Average players train hard, elite players train smart. We didn't just build a mat, we engineered a blueprint for the 1%. Every line, every angle and every drill was crafted through months of studying elite player biomechanics. Translate muscle memory into matchday dominance. Goal 90's own training mat comes with the app to take you to the next level. Get yours today.